Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and this past month, I've been writing a few songs with William Shakespeare. Shakespeare's As You Like It is one of the most musical of his comedies. There's 4 or 5 songs in it, and they get repeated. There's parody versions of them. The director asked me to come up with something that was folk-inflected, fun, danceable, playable by the actors on the stage. And that really does narrow things down a bit, doesn't it? Well, it's a different kind of challenge than I usually face, and I was really happy to do it. Let's take a look at a couple of those songs today. Well, first of all, you don't do this kind of thing alone, right? Theater and working in film is very much a collaborative effort. And when I'm working on a play, my very first step is to go to the text. Listen, there's a bunch of songs. One of the first ones that I took a look at was Under the Greenwood Tree, which has a kind of a beauty to it. It's sort of bittersweet. At least the actor or the character wants to get that across. And again, I knew I didn't really have a lot of great, instrumentalists available to me. So right away, it was just that soft 5 chord that I've been talking about. Now, I had the help of one of my students, Maggie, to sing it. In fact, she was incredibly instrumental in zeroing in on melodic ideas and just making the thing happen, not only in Under the Greenwood Tree, but also on Lover and His Lass, which we'll hear in more detail later. Now, as it happened when we were working on the song, as part of the demo to the actors, we just recorded a little video of Maggie and I playing through the tune. Here it is.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's note. Come hither, come hither, come hither, here shall he see to winter and rough weather.
Listen, let's go back to Lover and His Lass, because this one's a much more involved song and needs to be quite upbeat. Introduction, little melody on the accordion.
It was a lover and his lass, with a hey and a ho and a hey noddy no,
I knew I needed those
that
songs.
o'er the green cornfield did it pass. Hey and a ho and a hey noddy no. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing, a ding, a ding, a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Well, what makes that tick? It's pretty straightforward. 1, 4, 1, 5. C, F, C, G. It goes by fast. And that's the verse, if you listen to it, both the introduction and the hey nonny nonny bit. Nice to have an accordion riff, right?
It was a lover and his lass,
Muting the strings of the
with a hey and a ho and a hey noddy no, that o'er the green cornfield did it pass.
those vocal
Hey
harmonies
and
that
a
they get to
ho
the
and a
sound.
hey noddy no, in the spring.
All right, so the chorus, F major 7, and this was Maggie's sort of contribution. She's like, she's singing the E against the F chord, F major 7, and it makes it so beautiful and kind of weirdly, poignantly, bittersweet, celebratory. The harmonic rhythm cuts in half, C, G, and instead of going back to the C chord, we go a deceptive cadence to A minor. And that's part of the fun of propulsion in the chorus. F, G, another A minor, and then it bails out, F, G, C. The whole thing has a kind of a inevitability, really just using the important 1, 4, 5, and minor 6 chords. Here's going into the bridge again, and you'll hear how that works.
In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds who sing a ding, a ding, a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring. Sweet lovers love the spring. Between the acres of the rye, with a hey and a ho and a hey naughty no.
Let's take a look at the vocal harmonies. Decent singers will almost always be able to give you some kind of harmony, but I really wanted to write this stuff out. So I just want to show it to you on the screen. I created soprano, alto, tenor, and bass parts. Almost all of these tones are just like chorale type writing. The notes fit right within the chord, generally speaking. Maybe they have some passing tones, for instance, E, D, C against the C, D, E in the bass. It does have that D passing tone, doesn't it? Yeah, it's no big shakes. It works really well with the melody as well. And then later on in the song, the bridge, which we'll come to in a bit, I really wanted to get something that sounded almost like really churchy and kind of Christmas music. And so we've got a very low bass singing roots, tenor, alto, and soprano in kind of this, sort of 30 pinging sort of quality. And again, you can count on people to come up with something, but if you really want to be specific, sometimes you just got to write it out. In fact, while we're here, I'll point out that I really wanted, in case the violin player could play or the accordion player could play, I wanted them to really understand what the lead line was without having to pick it out of the recording. So I wrote that out for them. Again, it's just you're delivering material to people. You're going to try to give them whatever might help. So the second verse and chorus, nothing really unusual happens. Let's go to the bridge. Remember I said that the bridge was like a different kind of world. It's still those same chords, but we've gone halftime and really sort of, it kind of floats for a second. So here we go. Let's come out of the chorus and go in.
Sweet lovers love the spring. This carol they began that hour.
No hey naughty naughty here.
How that her life was but a flower.
And that tempo, you might have noticed, is a little bit slower.
In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing, hey ding a ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring. Sweet lovers love the spring.
It's pretty catchy. If you listen to all of this, it's just going to be stuck in your head for the rest of the
And
day.
therefore take the
Always
present
give
time
your
with a hey and a
place where
ho
there's
and a
good
hey
time
naughty
all
no.
over. So we're building at
For
the end
love
of this
is
verse.
crowned with the
Surprising
prime.
high note, and then the second
The hey and a ho and a hey naughty no. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time. Birds
big,
do
right?
sing a ding a ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
And then a
Sweet
very
lovers love the
We're just going
spring.
to repeat that.
Sweet lovers love the spring. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Bye, everybody. That same song or that music will be used for a big dance number at the end at the wedding. Of course, there's a happy ending. Everyone gets paired up in Shakespeare comedies, and a couple of weddings happen. And so we also recorded, taking this basic track, lead violin to create a instrumental version of the song. And that's really, I think, the only I'm hoping, the only recorded music that they'll use in the production. I think it really suits the out in the woods country feeling of the play as you like it. It's always fun to work on a show. Every show has its own specific requirements stylistically, um, time and place settings, what your actors and performers can contribute themselves. All those things get taken into consideration. It's not something I'm doing alone. Again, I'm super grateful to my student Maggie, as honestly, I don't think I could have come up with what we got alone. I mean, really, just delightful to be able to work with someone of that kind of talent. Well, hope it's been useful. Like and subscribe. You know, I really like questions. I've really been valuing the input I've been getting from you guys recently about things. And when a question sparks my imagination, I'm almost always going to find some way to incorporate it into my next tutorial. Well, I'll see you next time.